Hi, my name is David with Aspire Consulting, and today I want to briefly go through the wildfire smoke rules that went into place in 2022 in the state of Washington. The emergency wildfire smoke rule, we do expect that to become permanent as they go through the process of making this law, but it is Washington Administrative Code 296-62-085, and it applies to those workplaces where you, the employer, should reasonably anticipate that employees are going to be exposed to poor air quality. And how that's defined is particulate matter, or PM, of 2.5 microns or less in width. Okay, that's what that PM 2.5 means, of a concentration of 20.5 micrograms per cubic meter of air. Okay, don't worry about that too much. This equates to what we call AQI, or air quality index, for or more of 69 for wildfire smoke. Okay, we'll go through that here in a second. To summarize, the rule requires you, the employer, to do certain things. One, you need to have a written wildfire smoke response plan. Okay, this is something you're going to plug into your accident prevention plan, or your safety manual. Two, you need to determine outdoor exposure levels before work and periodically throughout the shift when smoke is present. You need to train your employees on the hazards of wildfire smoke. You need to train your supervisors on how to respond to those health issues if someone is exposed to wildfire smoke and they're showing symptoms. And next, you need to inform employees of the available protective measures against those hazards. All right, so let's talk about your plan real quick. If you type wildfire smoke response plan template -LNI into your browser, you're going to get a great tool. This is adapted from the Washington Administrative Code with regards to wildfire smoke. It is a very simple step-by-step template, a plug-and-play template to help you create your company-specific plan. Okay, I highly recommend you use this. It's easy to use, and it's going to educate you as you go as well. Okay, let's talk about the air quality as well. These are the minimum thresholds that where we need to take action. So I highly recommend that instead of dealing with this concentration of microgram per cubic meter of air, that you use the air quality index. This is used, or the AQI. This is used by the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, to communicate to the general public the air quality for several pollutants, including wildfire smoke, that are 2.5 microns or less in width. Again, that's that PM 2.5. So this is where the concentrations equate to AQI. So at a concentration of 20.5 micrograms per cubic meter of air, that equates to an AQI of 69. At 35.5 concentration, the AQI is 101. And at the point where we reach 555 micrograms per cubic meter of air, that's beyond the AQI scale. Okay, we have seen AQIs in the 300-400s, maybe even low 500s here in Washington. I think 3 years ago, in 2019, it might have been 20 in the fall. No, it was in 2019. Then when again this last year, it got pretty bad here as well. Once we got into August and September, so that's the scale we want to use, is that AQI, and these different numbers, 69 and 101, we need to take different actions. We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, how do we find this data? Where do we get it? Well, that template that I mentioned, the wildfire smoke response plan template, is a great resource. It lists a variety of resources available to you with regards to obtaining that data with regards to potential exposure to poor air quality. The ones that I like are the mobile apps. Okay, these are really convenient mobile resources. I have both of these below here on my phone. One is Washington Ecology's Air Quality WA app, mobile app. The other one is EPA's Air Now mobile app. They're free. Anybody can download them onto their device, and they're quick and easy to use. So I highly recommend those with regards to obtaining the information on air quality. Employee training. This is what you have to provide here. The information and training that you do provide needs to be in a manner and language that's readily understood by all workers. This is no different than any other safety training that you provide. You can't just provide it in English. You need to provide it in the languages so everybody that's on your staff that's going to be exposed understands the measures that need to be taken. At a minimum, you must include the following information. This is directly from the WAC. One is the health effects of wildfire smoke. Next, the right to obtain medical treatment without fear of reprisal. They need to feel safe going to the doctor to seek treatment if they have exposure and symptoms due to wildfire smoke. How to obtain that air quality data. Okay, show them how to use those mobile apps, show them how to download those apps. The basic requirements of the code, okay, that you don't need to go through it with them with a fine-tooth comb, but they need to understand the basics of the rules. You, the employer, need to communicate your response plan for wildfire smoke. They need to understand the importance, benefits, and limitations of the respirators. And they need to know how to properly put on, use, and maintain those respirators. All right, that's the employee training. There's some resources for you. It's already done for you. So these are downloadable toolbox talks and websites. The last one's a video, but some great resources so that you can train your employees on that list of things that I just mentioned. All right. Supervisor training. In addition to the same training that your employees receive, supervisors must also be trained in the following topics. The procedures they, the supervisor, must follow to implement the applicable provisions with regards to wildfire smoke. Okay. They need to understand the rule. The procedures the supervisor must follow if an employee exhibits adverse symptoms of wildfire smoke exposure, including appropriate emergency response procedures, and they need to understand the procedures for moving or transporting employees to emergency medical provider if necessary. Okay, what to do if someone has exposure, shows symptoms, and how to get them to the appropriate healthcare provider. All right. Exposure controls. Okay, so let's talk about those minimum threshold limits that we mentioned earlier. If the AQI, air quality index, is at 69 or higher, you are encouraged to provide respirators. Okay, not required, encouraged at 69. At no cost to the workers, and these are N95 or P100 respirators at a minimum. And they can also, they can wear respiratory protection if they choose. These are voluntary. They do not have to wear them if they don't want to, but you are encouraged to provide them at this threshold. Employers are also encouraged to limit your workers' exposure to smoke by doing some of the following things: reducing, rescheduling, or relocating their work, moving it inside, okay? Providing enclosed buildings or vehicles where the air is filtered, reduce work intensity or increase rest periods. You're trying to reduce their exposure to poor air, okay, through a variety of administrative controls. Okay, if the AQI goes above 101, the difference here is you must provide respirators, but it's still for voluntary use. Encourage them to use them, but now at 101, you have to provide them. And those weird, rare circumstances where we get Armageddon type air and the air quality gets really bad off the AQI scale, you need to provide different and more protective respirators. I'm not going to go in that here, but enclosed systems, self-contained breathing apparatus, scuba type stuff, or just completely eliminate the hazard by having them work inside, or you may have to cancel the shift that day if the air is that bad. But remember 69 and 101, those are different limits, and different action needs to be taken. Those protective measures, those respirators, okay, you must provide by either of the following methods. You must distribute them directly to each exposed employee, or you must maintain a sufficient supply for all exposed employees at each location where the exposure occurs. These respirators must be NIOSH-approved devices that effectively protect the wearers from inhaling particulate matter of 2.5 microns or less. The N95s and P100s are what are recommended. They're not expensive. They're easy to use, and pretty much everybody understands how to put them on and maintain them with minimal training. Okay, they must be clean, stored, and maintained and replaced so they are in good working order. Okay, and again, you must show them how, these are simple pictures that you can find on the web, how to properly fit and maintain a respirator if they're working in areas with poor air quality. Okay. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I just wanted to provide some resources and directions so that you can implement this and train this in your own place of business. All right. Thank you so much. Do it safe out there. Take care.